Hello, 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 everyone. It is a great day in Houston today. First thing I just want to say, I woke up this morning and saw a new day I'd never seen before, so I'll tell everybody. It's a great day in Houston. Great day in Houston. I'm Thelma Scott, and I'm the host of Embracing Diversity. And right now, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, the only one and only attorney Leona Filis. Take it away, as Mr. Springer said. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We have today in the in the radio station, a very special guest, Mr. Rafael Sarango, and he is going to be touching on multiple topics, but he first met Mrs. Scott years ago, and they have a strong passion for nonprofit work, and I would like to introduce everyone to Mr. Rafael.
Well, thank you so much for having me here in this amazing show with amazing people.
Yes.
As you know, Ms. Scott is a important personality in Houston, especially for the work that she does with youth. So I'm very.
Well, I don't know about that important, but I'm here.
To many of us, you are absolutely important, Ms. Scott.
Okay.
I'm sure to the youth you serve too, and through all these years.
So for those of you that don't know him, he is the executive director for this Center for Urban Transformation. Can you give us a little background of what exactly that is?
Absolutely. I'm recently been working as the executive director for the Center for Urban Transformation, which is an organization which is a nonprofit centered in the fifth ward of Houston, attending to the need of the most at risk.
Right.
And those are mostly, as you know, the population that we serve and that live in the fifth ward are mostly Black and Hispanic or Latinx people. Yeah. And so we are really focusing our efforts to support the youth within families.
Right.
Which means that we are going to help the youth as the center of our focus, because we don't want to underestimate the power of this youth in transforming their lives and the lives of their families as well. And we want to not only return them to an environment that might be already at risk and stressed and suffering from all the risk factors that we know happen in distressed situations, but also support the family through their youth, to involve the parents or to involve the grandparents, to have multi-generational support, to be able to not just concentrate on the things that they're doing poorly, but concentrate on the things that they can do extremely well, the leadership that we believe every single youth in our community has. In education, which was my prior life, we always talked about the multiple intelligence that individuals have, which sometimes we are considering in the West in particular. We're only focused onto the performance in math or the performance in the arts and the liberal arts. So we want to think about human beings, especially our youth, that are a little bit less jaded than we are.
Because our youth are number one. We really have to. They're number one.
That from your experience.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we discover which is their intelligence, which is their skill that they have and they can bring. Because they are learning, even though they might be in school, COVID,
but they're learning.
All these things are happening to our environment right now. They are learning, and that's our human nature. So what are they learning, and what are they utilizing within their whole gamut of the skills they have from themselves? So can we find those strengths? Can we trigger those out? Can we bring the best of those human beings out so they can truly, I'm not going to transform, although the organization is called Center for Urban Transformation, we're not transforming anybody. We're just giving the opportunities for people to discover, young people in particular, to discover who and how they can transform themselves into who they want to be. The very nice story of the caterpillar into the butterfly. So that's what we are. We're just helping.
Okay, so in the past you've worked with programs where you were helping children on the street. Is that part of your program now as well?
So I used to work for an organization, a large organization, a national organization, where we were emphasizing our work on young adults. That means 16, which are not young adults, but we consider those into that group too, 18 to 24,
18 to 24.
were literally living on the streets.
Right.
And so, how traumatic is that for a young life?
To be homeless.
To experience homelessness. We
Yes.
don't want them to. We don't want to use the word to be homeless because we're not. That's not a state of being, right? It's just a transition in their life. So
Right.
they were just experiencing that,
Mm-hmm.
and so because we want them to also feel that they can transform their lives.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So for many years, there was a huge gap in our community. It still exists,
Right.
and those are the invisible population. If you ask anybody on the street, even around the world, not just in Houston, you look around and you don't see young adults, and you say, "Oh, he's experiencing homelessness, or he's housing unstable, or he's living on the streets."
And giving them that information is so important because when the kids are that age, the 18 to 24, it's trust. They have to trust you in order to tell their stories. Now, they'll tell your story, but they have to trust you. Because I found that out a lot with the youth that I work with. And I work with a lot of youth that's homeless, but they have to be able to trust you before they can give you information that because a lot of them can be homeless and you not know they be homeless.
Absolutely.
They're very good hiding. Who know better than I do?
Right?
Yes.
Labeling.
Yes.
And you hit on the nail.
Yes.
We as adults, the educational system, the parents themselves, the relatives, the extended families, their families of choice, the social workers, we all have failed these students, these young lives.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't either. Why would I trust myself?
Right.
Why would I trust this old man coming over to me and saying,
Right.
let's do this or let's do something different about your life? So you hit on the nail. We work through a lens of trauma-informed care, which
Right, okay.
means that we understand that all of us have a little or a whole bunch of trauma effects in our lives
Right,
that affects the way that we behave. And so our brain literally, when we go through difficult circumstances,
Right.
is actually physically changed.
It's right.
So we allow that change to revert. Thank God of all the brain research about brain plasticity. It tells us that we can actually revert that.
Right.
If we have those points, as you were saying, Ms. Scott, of and families be safe in order to then start trusting us.
Right.
And then they start collaborating with us. We talk about 5 pillars, right? The safety, trust, collaboration. Then we talked about the matter of choice, because as a young person and maybe on the streets with housing instability and they don't have very many choices in their lives.
Right, they
So
don't have
just
life.
to give them the opportunity to have a choice on what is it that they decide. Maybe it's not water, it's orange juice if I'm feeding something them to drink. Simple things like that then will have the effect of empowering them in making their own decisions and becoming more confident about who they are. So again, hitting the nail. We need to create a sense of safety. And how do you create a sense of safety? So they can start trusting us again.
Trust is so very important. I found that out as I was working. My program is housed at Wheatley High School where I work with my ambassador program. But the students would come and tell me things, but they would tell the teacher or the counselor. They would come to Miss Scott, so they felt safe with Miss Scott. And then they would ask me, Miss Scott, can you talk to Andrew? Can you talk to someone and see what's going on and find out what's going on? They know that I was an employee of the school district. They know I was just a volunteer, so they would come to me and tell me their stories and what was going on. So then I relate it back to the teacher. But they would trust me more than they would the teacher or the counselor on campus.
And that's just
They
one of the
trust them.
programs that Mrs. Scott has with the
Yes.
Embracing with Safe Diversity Communities, which is a 501c3 nonprofit here in
Yes.
Houston, celebrating its 21st anniversary.
21st anniversary.
Yes.
Oh, just like my age. Wow. We were born together, Miss Scott.
Yes, I've been volunteering in several districts for 21 years. I started off volunteering at Spring ISD. I started volunteering in that district, and then moved on to HISD, but in Aldine and all around. Just and I serve on the foundation board for Spring ISD. I serve on the advocacy board for Aldine, and I serve on the HERE board for HISD. So I'm all around. And these people that I work with on a monthly basis are the one that help me with my program, help me with the kids, and help me to get scholarships, and help me move my program throughout the school district to understand what our program is about. And we focus, on the bullying and the dropout rate and suicide rate. That's very important. for my organization.
And what is the connection between the two of you? The juvenile justice? What is that?
The juvenile justice is because we work with the at-risk youth with disabilities. And so that's what we're fighting for, the funding for this juvenile justice that we're fighting for. Hopefully that we can get the funding that's available. We're working on it. So we're close to hearing something about the funding for different organizations to be able to work with the at-risk kids to know, first thing is that they're loved and they're not forgotten. That is number one. Know that we care about what they're going through. And these kids are going through a lot. You'd be surprised what they go through. Right now we have about 48 kids in our program, and I can guarantee at least once a week, a couple of times, I get a call from a student with a problem that I try to work out with them, their parents, because our program, we don't just educate the student, we try to educate the entire family. So that's why we try to have the monthly workshops so we can know what's going on. We can better help them in their lives if we know what's going on. If we don't know what's going on, then we can't help them. So it's very important to build their relationship. It's about building relationships.
And I think what you did, and we, the multiple conversations you and I have had, is I think what you do very well is understand that nobody can do this in isolation, right? That collaboration is such an important thing. It takes a village. Somebody that I like very much has said that in the past, that it does take a village. And so organizations tend to be very isolative and so work in these little silos in their work. But I think what you do that is amazing is you invite people in and say, how, what do you do that we can actually work together for the benefit of the youth? And as you do, you work with youth at risk. And the fifth word,
the at-risk youth all over. I mean, I just travel from district to district, but it's so important that they can see you for a person that they can trust. I'm one of the persons that I'm a 28-year breast cancer survivor, so I had to go back to school and learn all over. I had to learn how to spell my name. I had to learn all this stuff all over. So I went to Lone Star College. And Lone Star College, walked me through, helped me to get my life back on track. Is because I was lost. And I was very depressed, very, very, very depressed. So they had to see me as a person that has come through all these different things and let them know that there's hope out there. And if you let people help you, they can help you. So I owe a lot to my first alma mater, as I say, Lone Star College, helped me to get where I am today, working with me and still working with me, working with kids. But they have to be able to trust. So I had to be able to trust them because, at first I didn't trust them because I know now that I had breast cancer, I had brain damage. So now I'm a person, not this person that worked 11 and a half years at the police department as a communication supervisor. I don't know all this stuff, right? So I'm thinking about that you're going to be judging me because now that I'm a person with a learning disability, how you going to perceive me now? So they perceived me so well and walked me through, so I became a success story for Lone Star College. Those are the kind of people that the kids want to see, that take you in and just love you and let you know that you have hope and they're there for you. Those are the main important things. So I try to put that same love out and help the kids. I started this organization in the congressman's office, and I was helping kids on campus. I was running around there on campus trying to help myself. I saw that I had to help the kids because they didn't know how to navigate the system, and I knew the system, how to navigate it. So it's very important. I had to trust those teachers because a lot of them I didn't trust at all. But I learned to trust them, and they walked me through, and I became a big success story for Lone Star College. That's because I trusted the teachers.
Yeah, and how would families be able to get in contact with you, Mr. Sarango?
Yeah, I think there's different ways that they can reach out. They can, of course, look in our website. We now have a self-referral form in our website, which is FW, or for fifth word, transformation.org, where they can actually self-refer or refer a young adult that they're working with, or is that they know of, or is that they're maybe part of their family, and that would be a great way to reach out. Otherwise, they can also reach me into my email. Will just give me the grace of 24 hours for response. My email is all of a sudden very flooded, but it's R Sarango, like my last name is SARANGO at fwtransformation.org.
Well, before we get started, go a little further. I know that our DJ has been busy doing IT work, but I just want him to say something because he's been so busy. So I want to let him know we have not forgotten you. And you know, Miss Scott not gonna let you get away without saying something. So I see he still don't have his camera on, so I'm trying to see.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to put my camera on today because I had to go in and out and stuff.
Okay, well, go ahead, because
I'm not trying to hide from everybody.
He was moving today, you guys, but he's gonna say something. Okay, Mr. Khan, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you're just gonna put me on the spot like that. I guess I'll
always.
bring up that on the 20th was International Radio Day.
Yeah. National.
Oh, national. Sorry, just in the U.S. Sorry, yeah, I guess. But yeah, you know, it's cool that they celebrate. You know, they got a day for radio
y'all
and stuff.
important. Y'all very important. Very important.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well,
to celebrate radio and whatnot. You know, it is.
Decades, that was the main way to
Communicate.
Yeah, it's the
to
oldest.
the masses.
Exactly, it's one of the oldest forms of digital communication and whatnot. So you know,
Right.
Or analog.
yay
yeah.
for
Woohoo,
radio.
yes.
Congratulations.
All right. And then
All
we're
right.
still doing it now, but supplementing with a little bit of YouTube
With a lot of other
and a
modern
little bit
stuff,
of Facebook. Yep.
Absolutely.
And then people, you can call in if you'd like to talk to anyone here at 713-974-4000. And you can talk to our DJ and
And I'll
ask
put you
us any
on.
questions
Ask us
that
any
you
questions.
have. But right now we're talking to Rafael Sarango, and he's, again, the executive director of the Center for Urban Transformation, located in 5th Ward, but he has been helping youth for decades and has a lot of awards, leadership awards to prove it.
Right, so we got to get him in our circle, Turner Phillips. We got to get him in our
yes.
circle.
So,
he got to be one of our honorees, huh?
Oh, I think so. Actually, yes. So Mrs. Scott's talking about Safe Diversity Communities honors different people every month. And that's part of our program that we have with the scholarship candidates that we have for each year. They're supposed to attend our community outreach event, and we actually have good speakers from the community
Right.
who enlighten the kids and their families about different issues, social issues in the community. So not to put you on the spot, but she probably is already. So we're gonna hit you up for to be a speaker at one of our upcoming events.
We'll be delighted to.
You're right,
Anything
listen.
for Miss Scott.
Oh, there you go.
I already hit him up for it already.
I'll charge very little. Don't worry about it.
But I did out my granddaughter and I, we stopped by Office Depot. I was going to make some copies because I left the copies at home, and we had a copy of our off the college event that we had on August 6th. Then I had a copy of our honorees that we are honored for September the 4th. But I couldn't make copies of that. But we honor, we have an award. It's called the Otis Scott Hero Award. And that's just thanking people like you took out your busy time today to come and to be on the show with Attorney Phyllis and I today. So we appreciate that. So that's why we always tell people, send you that I appreciate you. It's the most simplest yet the most beautiful, incredible, and amazing thing you can say to anyone. I appreciate you. So today, Attorney Phyllis and I want to say we appreciate you.
Oh, yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And we're going to be
very
calling on you again. Okay?
Please do. I
Just like
love
we want to say
talk.
to our DJ, Mr. Tariq Khan, we appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate
Don't
that.
think
Thank
you're gonna
you.
get away with. Don't think you're gonna get away with. Your time is coming up, but we got a certain time to put him on our speaker list.
Well, you mentioned Hero Award. That was one of the awards that Rafael has from Comcast Hispanic Hero Award.
All right.
And the National Jacqueline Kennedy Outstanding Public Service Award.
Oh man!
So, yes. I mean, and
Give him a hand.
based on
That's awesome for
based-
your work in the community.
yes, and all the kids that you've the lives that you've impacted, and
Yes.
we're very grateful to have you here today with us.
Well, thank you. I'm actually humble. And the only reason I accepted those awards is simply it was quite an honor to go to Washington and meet some of the administration
Yes.
of the at that point administration of the government, and it was really amazing to see some wonderful people representing every single one of the states in the country to also receive some of those awards. And then from all of those, 5 of those were selected, and I was one of those. And the only reason I say that is not because of any pride, but is to simply elevate the voice of our youth.
Yes.
I am only here because I really respect and honor the experience of our youth in trauma. And those are the ones that we need to really empower. And those are we need to elevate their voice and their sufferings and bring it to just consciousness. So that's the only reason I was purposely, not for any that I could gain or anything that was, personal recognition. That's not my interest, but just simply to do my work of service.
But today, I just want to say, today is the first day of school for HISD.
That's right.
So if any kid out there listen today, and I'm sure that's
And you're skipping.
You're
in trouble.
Skipping trouble.
It's lunchtime.
Okay, that's right.
But what I want you to say, but I want you to reach out to them. If any students on the phone call on YouTube or whatever listening, I want you to tell them if they're experiencing the trauma you're talking about, how they can get in contact with you again. I want you to give them your email address, phone number, or whatever. Can you give that to whoever's listening for the kids? Because we have a lot of kids, like you said, started school today, but a lot of kids did not start the school today.
Correct.
Like you said, they probably skipping school or whatever, but they need to hear the message to know that there's hope out there and they have a place to go. That's so important. So can you tell them once again?
Absolutely.
Raphael?
I just want to reiterate your message, which is really important.
Right.
If at any point we feel alone, or we feel there's no resources, or that we feel different from the rest of our peers, by all means, you are not. There's somebody else out there that has exactly experienced like you are. Maybe I not have had the same experience, but the same human experience is related. The emotional experience is what connects us. And those relationships that you were talking about is the most important part. So if there's any youth out there from the LGBT community, any youth who's BIPOC, meaning Black, Indigenous, or of any other race that might not be the common denominator out there, do not feel that you're alone, please reach out. Our website is fwtransformation.org, and you'll find my email. You'll find a form that you can fill out really quickly and really easily for us to contact you immediately. And we have amazing we don't call them case managers, we call them youth specialists.
Okay, youth specialists. Okay.
Because nobody wants to be a case,
Right.
and nobody wants to be managed, right? So we want to be supported. So we want to have those youth specialists reach out to you, and the ones that we have now working with us are amazing. They really are from the heart.
Yes.
And so we speak. Most of the staff in the organization speaks Spanish and English, and so we're able to reach out to the great majority of our youth.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you so much. That was so sweet. And Turner Filis, can you kind of tell them if anyone want the student with disabilities at risk kids in our circle? Can you give them the information if they want to reach out to us? Can you give them that information? Okay.
So we have safediversity.org as our website. You could be part of Safe Diversity. This month, we celebrated our scholarship recipients that have been working hard all school year long with Safe Diversity. We got to see them in person because we've been having our monthly outreach events on Zoom. And so this month, we got to see them in person. Based on the warnings from the mayor, Mrs. Scott, decided that we needed to go ahead and have it as an outdoor event. And you should have seen all the parents, all the supporters, the police were there. We had Police Chief Fenner. We had Mr. Ivan Sanchez, who's been a very good partner with Safe Diversity for years.
And I want to get y'all know that he addressed me his chocolate mama, as he said. Yes, he just boo-bah. Well, Miss Scott is my chocolate mama. Okay.
You didn't complain about that,
No, I
did you?
didn't complain. I said, go ahead.
Yes, it's all kinds of fun. Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people know Mrs. Scott as Mimi.
Yes.
Because she just, whenever you meet Mrs. Scott, you have a strong connection with her. I mean, it's just almost instant. And so Mimi or whatever
Mama
he
Scott,
said,
yeah,
Mama
my-
Scott,
AKAs.
it's just and it's just so easy to fall in love with Mrs. Scott and have such a good long relationship with Mrs. Scott, just like so many of our kids have. And so we got to have our pizza party. We got to see the kids, see them off. So now they're off at college. Spring Branch just finished their first week of school, so
really?
happy
Okay.
about that.
So is Spring Branch okay? Is school going well? I know our little Jonathan is in Spring Branch, so I just wonder how things was going. Is he enjoyed his first week in school? How was it?
He is. So Jonathan.
Is that your son?
That's my son, Jonathan. He's 13. He's on the spectrum and he has ADHD. So sometimes,
But
first
he's
week
so
of school.
smart. You wouldn't really know he was autistic. He really would.
We were concerned about change in routine because a lot of our kids were just receiving educational services via Zoom or whatever their
Right.
platform was. So having him go back person to person, it was a bit intimidating because now he's surrounded by lots of people.
Right.
The hallways seem crowded. The cafeteria seems loud and crowded, and people have their mask off because they're eating.
Right.
So there's all these things to challenges to tackle. But first week went well. And so we're excited about, continuing on, hopefully in-person school for the rest of this school year. For parents that are have kids that are either on the spectrum or have IDD, are in self-contained classrooms. One of the things that I was going to bring up, if you're a new parent or if you're a parent of a child who's new to that particular school,
Right.
go ahead and first thing that you should be doing at the beginning of the school year is writing your special education department a request to have cameras in the classroom. So that's just cameras in the special ed classroom. But I just wanted to kind of put that reminder out there for some of our families that have kids with special needs.
And so the question arises, you have 13 years of experience, which is never easier. Every transition in life is even more challenging as they grow older. How do you take care of you?
Oh, yes. So, that's a great transition, and we are going to pick up after the commercial because we're also talking about National Wellness Awareness Month, and self-help is important. The ladies from the previous show at Chai Time were talking about self-care. Setting healthy boundaries. They were mainly talking about taking care of their elderly relatives.
Right.
So it is a little bit different when you're dealing with your child, especially if your child has IDD or intellectual and developmental disabilities or just any type of issue where just because of maturity level, they don't understand that, mommy's not there all the time or daddy's not coming home directly after work because he needs to hit the gym. So we'll
it's
talk
a balance.
about.
So kind of tell us, how do you balance that between picking him up from school, getting off of work, and do that, and then self care? So kind of tell us how.
So
how do
will
you balance it?
Yeah, I'm gonna address that as soon as we get back from commercial.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to Radio Dabang and the Embracing Diversity Show. We'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the most Dabang station of Houston, Radio Dabang 99.5 FM.
Food can be very transformational. That's what happens when you go to My Kolachi. You fall in love with the authentic Pakistani food.
My Kolachi, the soul of Karachi, brings you
Behtareen Kadahi,
मजेदार मलाई बोटी,
Lazeez Nihari,
गर्मा गर्म कबाब
और दिल को जो भाए ऐसे पाए.
और लबे शीरें लाजवाब.
My Kolachi, offering Sunday brunch from 11:30 to 2:30.
Nothing brings people together like good food.
Catering and banquet hall for up to 1,000 people available.
My Kolachi, the soul of Karachi.
My Kolachi is now open in a bigger and better location. Visit the new My Kolachi at 15425 Southwest Freeway in Sugarland and try one of their new Chinese menu items. My Kolachi, the soul of Karachi, 59 and William Street in Sugarland.
You don't just have dreams, You have goals, and you're going to make them happen. That's why you wait for the sale. You check the promo codes, and you find the best deal. At Discount Power, you know it doesn't matter if you're saving for a rainy day, an unexpected repair, or a college degree. It all helps. That's why we offer affordable electricity plans. We want to help you save today so you can live your dream tomorrow. Discount Power, helping you save on electricity. Visit discountpowertx.com and sign up now. PUCT number 10177.
तुम्हें पता है मैं क्या सोच रही थी?
क्या?
बच्चों को लेके बल्कि सबको लेके उन शहरों में जाया जाए जहाँ हम बड़े हुए थे या फिर जिनके बारे में किताबों में पढ़ा था। हमारे बच्चों ने तो सिर्फ सुना ही होगा। मतलब पाकिस्तान, इंडिया, दुबई।
ओ बस भाई, हौसला रखो, ज्यादा नहीं हो गया, जेब अपनी है।
साथ साथ अगर उम्रे की सादत हासिल हो जाए और वो भी फ्री वीजे के साथ।
अच्छा, अब ना तुम ख्वाब देख रही हो।
क्यों ना देखूं? जब मेरे ख्वाबों को पूरा करने के लिए चेजफुल ट्रैवल्स जो हो, उनके पास है स्टूडेंट डिस्काउंट, टीचर डिस्काउंट, यूथ डिस्काउंट और हज पैकेजेस आपके ख्वाबों को हकीकत बनाए। चेजफुल ट्रैवल्स 281-506-0043 281-506-0043.
Good news! World Food Mart is hiring. जी हाँ, they are taking walk-in interviews over there Monday to Friday 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. आप जाइए वहाँ पे पहुँच जाइए. The best place to work, the cleanest atmosphere, and a very wonderful staff, experienced staff where you can work at 14625 Beechnet Street, Houston. उनका नंबर है 832-690-2789. Great opportunity for the recent high school graduates as well as college graduates at World Food Mart. Send your resumes to ismath@worldfoodmart.com.
जिंदगी में हादसा एक बार होता है पर हमेशा याद रहता है. एक्सीडेंट हो जाए तो कौन आपके बिल्स पे करेगा? आपको जरूरत है एक ऐसे अटॉर्नी की जो आपके साथ खड़ा रहे. जेम्स पर्किंस आपके हक के लिए इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से लड़ेगा. जेम्स पर्किंस आपके हक का पैसा आपको दिलवाएगा. जेम्स पर्किंस आपका केस जीतेगा तभी अपनी फीस लेगा. जेम्स पर्किंस 30 साल से पर्सनल इंजरी और एक्सीडेंट क्लेम केसेस जीत रहा है. अपने केस की फ्री असेसमेंट करवाएं. आपकी जबान में बात करें. अभी कॉल करें 713-781-0660 713-781-0660.
कोई नई बात नहीं, जमाना जानता है और मानता भी है हम कौन हैं, हम क्या हैं.
बाबा ने मुझे यही सिखाया है, मेहनत, हिम्मत और बहादुरी.
हमने अगली नस्ल को न सिर्फ बताया बल्कि करके भी दिखाया.
सुबह से अपनी टोयोटा पे शहर के हर कोने कोने में बिजनेस ढूंढना.
बरखुरदार टोयोटा गाड़ी बाकमाल है, हमेशा साथ निभाती है. फ्यूल एफिशिएंसी में लासानी, जब एतबार हो, भरोसा हो, इंसान अपनी मंजिल पे बासानी पहुंच जाता है.
लेकिन मजा तो सबको अपने साथ लेकर चलने में है. स्टर्लिंग में कॉल टोयोटा की शाहिद उस्मानी की मिसाल ले लें.
लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. अपनी टोयोटा पे हमेशा भरोसा करें. कॉल करें शाहिद उस्मानी 713-270-3948 713-270-3948.
Thank you for listening to us on Radio Dabong. This is the Embracing Diversity Show. My name's Leona Filis, and my co-host is
Miss Thelma Scott.
Oh, yes.
All right.
And we have a wonderful guest today in the studio here, Mr. Rafael Sarango. And we were talking about self-help now, and self-care.
Yes, self-care.
Self-care. So I heard that Mr. Rafael is the director and main trauma-informed instructor of the oldest nonprofit yoga center in Texas.
So we got to know about that.
So that is wonderful. Can you tell us, how often do you do yoga?
Oh, well, I do yoga every day.
Oh, nice.
So there's many types of yoga. The yoga that I practice is daily is my spiritual practice, meaning my meditation practice with yoga, which I do is a practice called Bhakti Yoga, which basically is Bhakti, meaning it's a devotional yoga, or it comes from the heart. It's a developing your loving muscle, because we need to develop that too.
Okay.
So it really teaches me to be and remain loving in my daily activities. The other part of yoga, which I also am an instructor, and I've been an instructor since I was 18, way before you were born, Miss Scott. I've been an instructor since that early in my life, because I had a back injury. I was a gymnast. I was really, and something happened in my back. And so the doctor said, you need to fuse your vertebrae, blah, blah, blah. At 17, I was not ready to do that.
Right.
And so he says, you will never be able to lift any weights or jump or do any exercise like that. And so I started doing and practicing yoga. And now I teach 3 times a day in that nonprofit organization that we formed. And it is truly a blessing. It's an amazing, we do hybrid yoga classes, meaning that you can join online through YouTube. And we have a camera that connects live and we stream it. And as well, you can be in person as long as you are vaccinated.
Right.
And so the idea is to have not so much the exercise. Yeah, it is an exercise, and it feels the people that come to the yoga center may think that and might claim different than I'm doing right now, but it feels very much.
Can I stop you there for a minute? Can you? Our listeners need to know. Plus, I need to know, where's the yoga center at?
It's right here in the Galleria area, in the southwest area of Houston. It's right on Richmond Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to advertise that. That comes on its own. The point that I think I want to really remark is what you were talking about, Leona, earlier, which is about the importance of self-care. And that moving meditation, which is what we do, is about being mindful, right? To have connectedness, because we go through and do so many things for our day, and we never stop to say, have I exhaled today? Right? How am I sitting? Right?
Yes,
Am I aware of my environment? Am I opening my eyes in a way that I can actually see the world today? And so those little things about being aware of posture, being aware of your breath, being aware of the things that you eat, then it starts expanding. And how many times, how much I eat. And at what times do I eat? Do I walk and exercise a little bit every day? Am I sitting too long on my desk? Am I just on the computer? Am I looking at the screen every single moment? So little things of awareness is what really encompasses the holistic health, right? What is it about the health? Which is not separate from the work that I do with my youth, right? I can only give, and that's a thing that I have learned from my teacher, is that we can only give what we have. So if I don't develop that muscle of love for myself and that devotional love or whatever, that deep love that is not just for my body, I love my body, those are transitory things, but what is really deep about that, then I cannot express or project that to anybody else that I'm working with. And so that's the intent, I think, of my question. And I was curious to see how you took care of, because that's a loving act, right? To have a child with special, that means it's a special gift for you that takes so much of your energy and intention. So I was wondering, how do you balance, as Ms. Scott was saying, that life?
Oh, yeah. No, and
Not easy, I know.
I seek out, well, thankfully from Mrs. Scott, I've been in touch with so many people that are dedicated to the health and education of others. And through your connections, I joined a group where we check in with each other regularly on WhatsApp. We track our meals, like you were saying, being intentional about eating. I was raised in Greek restaurants by, my Greek dad. The plate he would give me to eat was, about this size and completely full, and I was supposed to eat all of it.
Eat it all.
So now I break it down to small meals multiple times a day, try to be mindful of that. Starting off my day with maybe, I like martial arts a little bit better, so I like Qigong, which is moving meditation also, but a little different. So I like to try to do that, and then include some kind of cardio. So since school started, after I drop off the kids at school, I hit the gym for the 35 minutes and watch my Netflix on my phone.
But remember what we're supposed to do, and we don't do it. Remember, one of our partners is Tina Chandler with Norma to be fit, right? So some things that we're supposed to do every day that we don't do, that she tells us to do, but we don't do it, to keep us, our self-care. And one thing that my son, Zenova, when she's eating some, she always said, let me check this. Is this Tina Chandler approved? She said, no, it's not. So we didn't get all our way. She had us on a narrow path, doing right. We done got everything.
You got to
We have
know
all
your
kind of-
macros,
we have kind
Mrs.
of,
Scott.
We got all kind of cheat days. A cheat day. She tell us every month. This is what Tina tell us. You're supposed to do this, this, and this, and we go the opposite way. So that's where we are now. But we're gonna get back on track, right?
Well, yes. Well, one thing that Tina has talked about also was that you don't have to set aside 30 minutes or an hour to work
No.
out. She has given us at the beginning of each of our monthly community events, Tina will get up there and she will get people moving. I think it's 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
And then she says, do that a couple of times a day. So for a parent with a child with special needs and my own business, it's hard for me to break out a 2-hour chunk of my day for cardio and for stretching and yoga and all that. So I have to break it up and get it when I can get it. And so just I've noticed that I have been more mindful. Even last night, I was noticing how big the moon was, and it's being able to appreciate beauty around you is nice. Instead of just trying to go from one task to complete to the other, being also aware of what's going on with you in the moment is nice to finally get to that point where I'm doing that on a regular basis and not just waiting for my Fitbit to tell me to go get up and walk. I actually, let me go ahead and take a break and
it's so
walk
good for our
outside.
students too. We have the students and the parents do it, and we do it on Zoom. We just, Tina would just tell us wherever you are, just go ahead and do it. You could even be sitting. She tell you can sit and do the little 5 minutes exercise. You don't have to stand.
Exactly.
So that's what we do. We do that every month. We have her to come and do our health and wellness part because it's so important that we do the self-care. So important.
And even every day to just take a second
I ain't
to
gonna
say.
do it every day. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, I'm not saying to even exercise, but to just exercise something else like being grateful, right? How do we are grateful when you, like the beautiful thing that you said when you started the show,
right?
How to wake up every day. I woke up every day and it's a brand new day.
Brand new day, a great
and
day in
how many
Houston.
times have I thought about that? It's like how beautiful that is to be grateful for just this one moment.
Right.
So
because I say that, Raphael, because it's so important to me is that tomorrow is not promised to any of us.
Absolutely.
So I say that every day because I am blessed. And when I wake up and see the sun shining through the window, then you're blessed.
Yes.
So that's why I always say I'm so lucky and so blessed to wake up and see a new day that we've never seen before. So that's so important. And we all think about that. And tomorrow is not promised to any of us.
That's right. And that's what you reflect. By just by being the way you are, and that's exactly my point with all the youth that we work with, right? That they all have the same qualities. I mean, we might be in the middle of the most difficult circumstances in our lives. We might be living on the streets. We might be in a very difficult circumstance in our own family or where we're staying. But if we just find that one thing that is really that we can be grateful for, it changes the entire dimension and just perspective of the day. And so, Ms. Scott, thank you so much for even reminding us to that at the beginning of the show of that, because that really it was I heard you, and I really was
used to tell
grateful for that.
everybody be laughing. But I hadn't did videos in a while because I've been dealing with this toothache for about 8 months. I usually every time I do a video, then in it I said, "I love you," and guess what? God loves you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Exactly true.
You tell everybody that every day. You tell them you love them. Exactly. God loves you, and I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
So do you feel like, I don't think people journal anymore, and I think that's an important part of self, just realization and figuring out what your thoughts are. Do you feel that just with meditation that's enough for you, or do you encourage journaling? I know now you can go online and have an online journal too.
Right.
I know a lot of people document things through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, but it's like sharing with everybody, and it seems like you're a different person when you're doing that. How do you encourage people for self-inflection and to express that? Do they need to capture it in a journal, or what do you find is helpful for you?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I believe in individual. And I believe in the individualism of your own practice. So finding what works for you. And that means many times we've tried everything until we find this one thing that works for us. Stick to it. If it's journaling, if it's sitting down for 5 minutes looking at the moon at night, if it's whatever it is for you, just do it and find what gives you joy, because there isn't a recipe. We're not humans. I mean, no, we're not all the same. Somebody explained to me it this way, which is we are all like a necklace of pearls, which all of us are just this beautiful, unique pearl with this just amazing tinge or imperfection that catches the light in such a different way. But we are all connected through that string that connects all those pearls. So although we are connected and my suffering is your suffering, but my joy is also your joy. Miss Scott's remembrance today of thanking for a brand new day was my joy, because that brightened up my heart. So each of us are unique, and we are all still connected. So finding our way to be and show up in the world genuinely is the best way to do it.
It is.
Nice.
Well, I'm going to make an announcement, and I want to know if you have some announcement. I want to make an announcement because our next workshop is going to be on September 4th, and that's September month, and we're going to be talking about Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We'll also be talking about a lot of other awareness. What's most important is that we talk about suicide amongst our youth, recognizing the signs, because everybody don't know the signs, so we've got to recognize the sign. And our youth will be doing an art on piece on suicide for youth, and they also will be writing an essay on suicide youth. And it's been so heartbreaking to, I know, a lot of us, because they're so clever. You can see them doing so many things, and still they're depressed. I deal with anxiety, and I deal with deep depression. I have been since a child, but you never know. So you have to be able to recognize the sign, and I guess I got that touch, because I can recognize when someone is really dealing in deep depression. So we want to bring it out, and we have to be careful with how we talk to people and what we say, because you don't know if that's the time that person is really in deep depression. I know it was really heartbreaking for, I can't remember his name. I know one of the track kids, he was like 26 years old, that committed suicide. You remember? That was like a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago.
Just a couple weeks ago. One of the University of Houston track field young man, he committed suicide, 26 years old. And he was on the heights of his life, bubbling, things going good, but you never know. That's why I said we have to be careful how we speak to people and what we say to people, because we don't know when they're in that deep depression and they are suicidal. So that's what we're going to be talking about, suicide, and identifying, the signs when a person is suicidal. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, and our guest, and I want to say our guest, we have a young man that was one of the scholarship recipients for another organization that I serve on, Greater Frontier Club. Is that he, right now, he is a recruiter for Google, but he's going to be talking about a challenge and how recognize the sign for youth with disabilities. We're going to have one of the trainers from TSU that worked with me that I'm in class with. She's going to be talking about environment and justice. And we're going to also, that's going to be something that's very important that our youth and our families need to know about. But we're going to key on suicide prevention. It's so important.
It's amazing.
Okay, Turner Filis, you want to?
Yeah, and next month also we have, it's for awareness regarding muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And so for those of you probably that haven't heard me talk about it, I have a nephew with Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
We're going to try and get some parents on who can talk to us about what they go through, the self-care that they try to have every month or every day to help them, the discussions that they have with themselves and with their family members about the prognosis and what it means for the family and for the kids. We just had actually a grief webinar where the families were able to talk about processing loss, all the different losses that they experience, not just with the first diagnosis, but every time there's a decline in the health And so all of that gets, we do try to bring this up, to help people process their grief, but also bring it back to the self-care.
Right.
So some people, their plate is fuller than ours.
Right.
And like Mrs. Scott was saying, there's people that may be suffering from deep depression, and we just don't know it. So, yeah, you are supposed to follow the golden rule and treat others how you would like to be treated.
But they don't do it.
There's a lot of people don't do it. But try.
Right.
Try to be your best person, be your best self, and treat others even if they're not being nice to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Be
and
nice
just
to them. If you're
be
being
nice.
treated bad, it depends on
may
how
not-
you react to it.
So that's completely up to you. It's how you react.
How you react to it. That's wonderful.
But,
Okay, let me say something right quick.
Uh-oh.
We want to have our DJ. You want to say something before we close out? This is getting to the end of our show for today.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it was a fantastic show. It's always great doing the show with you guys. Always very informative, very enlightening. So I'm always looking forward to the next show.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you. And we would also like to thank the owner of the show, Mr. Marcon. Thank him for sponsoring this show every month. I don't know where he is, if he's listening, but Mr. Marcon, I just want to let you know, my co-hosts and I, Attorney Filis, we thank you so much. We appreciate you. As we say, we appreciate you so much. And we won't let our guests say something before we close out. Okay,
Of course,
Ms. Raphael?
just to be grateful for the opportunity one more time. And there's nothing we can change about the circumstances in our life except our own perception of those.
Right.
So that starts with us. We can only give what we have. So
give what
and
we
you've given
I
me so
love
much
that. I
today.
love that.
So thank you for inviting me, and I'm looking for many more times to be
Good.
of your service.
Oh,
We were
great.
so honored to have you. Okay, Attorney Filis, you want to close this
All
out?
right, everyone. We'll be here again next month. Take a look on Facebook for our Embracing Diversity page, and you can maybe see a little bit more information about our wonderful guest. And let us know what you think about the show. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
All right, same time, same place. Bye-bye.